Welcome to A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. The Bible tells one big story of redemption, and we want to spend 5 minutes every day journeying through the Bible from start to finish and exploring how all of it points to Jesus.
Hey friends, and welcome back to A Year in the Bible with Daily Grace. My name is Shelby Turner. I'm one of your hosts for this podcast, and today we're beginning a new book of the Bible, and it is a doozy, Song of Solomon. Before we get started, I do want to let you know that if you have little ones present, you may want to pause this episode and listen to it later. Not all of this content is suitable for children. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about Song of Solomon. This book is classified as love poetry, and there are several different ways to interpret this book of the Bible, and for centuries there's been much debate over which one is the correct way to interpret and apply it. Some believe that this book is a picture of God's love for Israel. Some believe it's a picture of Christ's love for the church. Others believe that it's just a random collection of beautiful poems. But what we see as the most widely accepted and validated interpretation of this book is that it is a collection of poems that has the story of a shepherd and shepherdess who are engaged, kind of woven in and out of it. And the shepherd and shepherdess are eagerly awaiting their marriage and specifically the physical union that it will bring. While this book is called Song of Solomon, it's unlikely that Solomon is the author or even the main character in the story. Naming it Song of Solomon probably meant that it was written in the wisdom tradition of Solomon. Solomon had 700 wives, which really does not make him a good candidate for the author of this book because it's about monogamous love. It should be pointed out that we are going to see headings like he, she, and others. He and she are the man and the woman, or the shepherd and shepherdess who are betrothed in a relationship to one another. And when it says others, these are members of a chorus who often join in the lovers in praising each other. So this is poetry. It was written to be beautiful when read, but not necessarily completely understood. So when we don't understand it, we can just enjoy it for what it is, poetry. In the first 4 chapters of Song of Solomon, we see a back and forth exchange between 2 lovers who are yearning for one another. They give each other some really odd compliments, like in chapter 1, verse 9, I compare you, my love, to a mare among Pharaoh's chariots. These aren't meant to be literal compliments, but rather metaphors. Almost all these compliments are comparing their love to something that is excellent. So in their eyes, they're saying their beloved is supreme, the most lovely, the most desirable. It's widely believed that chapters 3 and 4 are the beginning of a dream that the shepherdess has of her man in their wedding day and night. And she describes pretty vividly the passion that she has for her groom, but their actual wedding will take place later in this book. So you might be wondering, why is there such a spicy book in the Bible? Well, for a couple reasons. First, because love is a gift. Marital love and sex are good gifts when enjoyed within the boundaries that God has designed. And second, because the picture of love between the shepherd and shepherdess is pure, wholeheartedly devoted, and unashamed. You know, in our world, sin has led to countless distortions of love and sex, but in this book, we see it as God designed it to be. And we know that when we enter into a relationship with God by grace through faith in Jesus, that He begins redeeming and restoring everything that's broken in us, and that includes our romantic relationships. That's why the book of Song of Solomon is so important. It shows us what that relationship could look like. Thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to follow along on our Instagram pages at The Daily Grace Podcast and at The Daily Grace Co. And check out our website, thedailygraceco.com, for all kinds of resources to help you dive deeper into God's Word. On the website, you'll find our Story of Redemption study to accompany this podcast, as well as the Story of Redemption journals that have dedicated journaling space for every chapter of the Bible. I'm personally using both of those resources right now, and I cannot recommend them enough. You can always find resources to accompany the podcast at dailygracepodcast.com. And if you enjoyed today's episode and you're excited to join us again tomorrow, would you take just a moment to leave us a rating or review on iTunes? It helps more people find our show. Thank you so much, and we look forward to chatting with you again tomorrow.